Change your diet, change your life, change the planet.
How many of you are here tonight because you want information about a vegan diet or a plant-based diet? A few of you? Okay. How many of you are already eating a plant-based diet? Anybody here to get information about a raw diet?
Sure.
Anybody eating a raw diet? Anybody eating the wrong diet? Anybody here to get information about athletics or running or physical performance? Okay, great. We're not going to talk about any of those things today. I've been doing this now since 2006, traveling around giving talks. It started in the Midwest. There was a woman there who was creating a running team of raw foodists, and she had not heard of any raw athletes, so she looked online. She discovered me. I'd been doing it for about a year at that point. And she contacted me and said, will you come to the Midwest and do a little tour with us as we try to raise money for this team? We're running the Chicago Marathon. And since you're doing really well and getting great results, you can do the speaking. So I kind of fell into this. And at first, I talked about my results and how raw food transformed my life, and I now suddenly had these great physical abilities, those of an 18-year-old. But that got really boring and narcissistic and not a whole lot of fun. So then I started looking into the specifics of a raw diet, because you can tell somebody that it works for you and they can look and say, well, it might work for you, but it's not going to work for me. Because I tried it and it didn't work for me. So that's just you. So I wanted to learn more about this diet, learn more about the biochemistry, the physiology, all the different sciences that come together to create our experience of life. And through that process, I've learned a great deal. Most importantly, I've learned that diet is just a tiny piece of the puzzle. And the more I learn about diet, the more I realize that my dietary information is not going to change your life. My information about physical transformation is not going to change your life. Because a lack of knowledge is not the problem. This talk is going to start with a journey into the mind, which will lead into a journey into the diet and a journey into the body. Because they're all related, and you can't do one without the other. Because all the nutritional information I've ever given goes in one ear and out the other for the most part. People take notes, and then they just keep coming back to new lectures.
I always thought there was some missing link.
There's a huge missing link.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why are you here? Because you've been to other talks. You're highly educated, many of you. Why are you here? You should know everything by now. It's really not that complicated. You ready? Here's the nutritional information. I can do it in 10 seconds or less. Eat your fruits and veggies. Organic whenever possible. Whole whenever possible. Done. That's it. Questions? It's really that simple. We know what to do, but we're not doing it. People think that I'm strict and disciplined. When I'm training for a race, I will go through at least 20 hours of training a week, and then another 10 to 15 hours of preparation for that training, sometimes another 20 hours of preparation for that training, plus travel, plus racing. It's a full-time job. And I live in Vermont. I don't have beautiful sunny days greeting me for most of the year. The vast majority of the year, the weather is not on my team. And I eat a raw vegan diet. So I train like a crazy man, and I eat like a crazy man. I must be ridiculously disciplined. I must have enormous amounts of willpower. How else could I possibly do this? I'm probably the least disciplined person I've ever met. And I have no willpower. I have a very, very small willpower tank. And any of you that know David Allen, who wrote Getting Things Done, he admits in the book, I created this process because I'm the most disorganized person and the laziest person that I've ever met. I can't function. So I had to create something idiot-proof so that an idiot like me could do it. I did the same thing. Because life for me has never been easy. Life has always been a challenge. And often we don't make changes in life until they're forced into our face. Tragedy strikes. You fall down, you break your arm. Or worse. And we're forced to face a reality that's really uncomfortable, really inconvenient. And maybe we make some changes, maybe we don't. Maybe in the face of that evidence, we turn away and say, no, I'm me and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm not going to change. Emphysema, I don't care. I'm going to smoke while I'm on oxygen. There are people that do that. Mm-hmm. And then there are people that change. But what happens if that tragedy, if that trauma never shows up in your life? What then? It's like the frog in the water. Put a frog in room temperature water and gradually raise the temperature. It won't jump out. It'll die. Because the change is so gradual that the frog's physiology just adapts to it. Doesn't even notice the difference. And the same thing happens to you. Now that we understand neuroplasticity, we're realizing that the brain is constantly changing itself. We revise our memories. We rewrite them. We rewrite our characters and our personalities. We rewrite our story on a regular basis. We're constantly adapting and adjusting so that we can't see changes. I have 2 nieces. And when I go away for a long time and I come back and see them, they've grown. And I immediately see the change. But their parents can't because they've adapted. It's like a ratcheted system. It keeps moving up and it doesn't want to go back. So that we can recognize things. We delude ourselves constantly. And it's not intentional and it's nobody's fault. It's our brain structure. It's the way that we're designed. And in this modern world, it works against us most of the time because we can't see the changes. And until that tragedy shows up, we don't even realize that we're unhealthy. We don't even realize that we're sick. We don't even realize that we're unhappy. And I've dealt with a lot of unhappiness in my life. Been depressed almost all of my adult life. Severe clinical depression. And I used to hide that. I didn't tell anybody about it. Especially when I was going around giving talks about raw food. Because I wanted to inspire people. I didn't want to depress people. I wanted them to think that raw food cured everything, that veganism cures everything. It's the miracle cure. You'll never have a problem again. That's simply not true. So now I talk about it and I expose myself. I become vulnerable and transparent so that I can show people how to function inside of a challenging experience or a challenging life. Because that's where the magic is. Because again, I'm not disciplined and I have no willpower. And yet I train 20 hours a week and eat a strict whole raw food diet.